What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Dude to Bet Daily for a college football Saturday, also a huge racing Saturday. It's September 24, 2022. I'm back here joined by the Halterman crew, Papa Dude, Monster College Football Saturday. Big game down in Texas, A&M and Arkansas at Jerry World. Arkansas getting a safety back here. Who do you like in this spot?
Oh, I like the Arkansas Razorbacks all the way. In this one, I almost made it my best bet. Thought Aaron might pick it, so I didn't. I'm just not sold on A&M at all. I don't think they have enough offense to win this game. I really don't. Arkansas killed them last year. The score doesn't indicate how bad they beat them. I just think Arkansas is pretty solid. They play well down there. They've had A&M beat a lot of times and blown it when they haven't had very good teams. I think they're better than they are. I like the Razorbacks to win this one.
Yeah, it was interesting watching A&M. I'm a Miami Hurricanes fan. It was interesting watching A&M play them last week. It felt like Miami actually probably should have won that game. They end up losing by 8. They had tons of opportunities to keep getting points on the board and just couldn't do it. A&M was struggled on offense that entire time. I could definitely see them doing the same thing. Aaron, I know Papa Dude mentioned you were thinking about taking Arkansas as the best bet here today. Tell us a little bit about why you were leaning that direction.
Yeah, the reason why I didn't make the best bet, it is a rivalry game. And as you know, in college football, sometimes that leads to some crazy happenings. But overall, I do think Arkansas is a little bit better team. I think the Arkansas weakness is certainly the pass defense. I think the weakness for the A&M Aggies right now is the passing offense. So what Arkansas stops well, I think that's what A&M actually does. So I think that leads to a pretty good setup for the Arkansas defense for a change. And I think offensively, Arkansas's got weapons. Even though that game was close last week with Missouri State, you saw the weapons, man. They were able to make the plays to get the job done. They've played 3 quality opponents, and they've beat all 3 of them. A&M had the loss to Appalachian State. You talked about that Miami game last week. My goodness, Miami had every chance in the world to beat them. I just think Arkansas is a little bit better team. I think they're going to win this one. I think it's going to be a great game, but I don't think Arkansas should be the underdog. And for that reason, yeah, I'm going to go with the Razorbacks.
You mentioned App State real quick. I know we've talked about some of the people that I talked to that have told me certain games. I've been told App State's going to lose today. They're a 7-point favorite against James Madison. Apparently, James Madison a lot better than you think. So James Madison plus the 7, I told, was a good one.
Talk about it, Papa Dude. You love James Madison today.
Well, I do. James Madison's been a powerhouse at the what is it, Aaron? SCS at the next level. Yeah. And the powerhouse teams at that level are not very much different from a team like Appalachian State. There's not a huge amount of difference. Your North Dakota States, your Montanas, your South Dakota States, your James Madisons are always in the playoffs. They're always good. There's not a whole lot of difference. This is a sound team. Appalachian State should not have beaten Troy last week. Now, I know they were flat, but they shouldn't have won. They should have lost that game. So this could be an ambush today. I think it is in Appalachian State, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's in Appalachian State right now, 6.5 plus 220 on the money line.
Yeah, I like the Dukes in this one. I think this is going to be a hell of a game.
Yeah, it's interesting. You mentioned flat after the A&M win. I wouldn't be shocked if they're flat after a Hail Mary victory at home. They've been celebrating that thing for a week. So this is another down spot, especially against a team that they may not be taking as seriously as they should. Yeah. So that was another game I looked at and ended up not going that direction. I love that you like it too, Papa Dude. That was one I got text yesterday.
By the way, Mike, have you ever been to Boone, North Carolina?
I have driven through Boone. I've never been to it.
Well, College Game Day was there last week, and that looks like an awesome setting, a beautiful place is what it looks like. I guess it's in the Appalachian Mountains, right?
Yeah, it's gorgeous. It's in western North Carolina, beautiful area, the Appalachians there. Lots of really good breweries if you want to go over there. So highly recommend western North Carolina. Just make sure you know where you're going because you don't want to go through too many small towns there. We'll just put it that way. We are here an hour early today, Lord. We got college kickoff here at noon, and Saturday, a huge racing day. A lot of the races start at noon, just like Parks. So Parks' first race is 12:05 today. We've got college kickoffs at noon. So we want to make sure we can get those best bets in. We've also got the Racing Dudes tournament today, which starts at noon there over at Parks. If you want to enter, it's $20 to get in. The top 5 make the finals, where we're giving away a free $500. So make sure you check that out. There's a link on my Twitter if you want to check that out. So just go to Somobomb18 on Twitter and you click the link. You can get in the tournament for $20. I'd love to see everybody getting in here. Amber's going, Bree's ready to go. So looking forward to that tournament as well. One other college football game we want to talk about before we jump into some racing here. I think North Carolina is going to make Notre Dame have a pretty rough day here. I don't see how the Golden Domers are going to be able to put up enough points to keep up with the North Carolina offense. This game opened with Notre Dame a slight favorite. It's now moved to UNC -2.5. I got them at -2. It's still moving. I think anything under 3, I like UNC today.
That's an interesting game. I'm going to try to stay away from that game a little bit because I don't know what UNC is, and I think Notre Dame is just kind of blah. But I don't know. This UNC defense hasn't been great. So if Notre Dame can't score today, they're never going to. And you're right. If they can't score, it's going to be bad because UNC's got a dynamic offense. That much we know.
Yeah. I think it's a really tough game. Notre Dame's one of those teams you just, golly, you hate to bet against them. They're just one of those things. And like you say, you don't know how good North Carolina is. You like to bet against Notre Dame?
Yeah, I have my brother-in-law is a huge Notre Dame fan.
Oh, okay, I get it.
I have two people in my family went to Notre Dame. I'm sick of hearing about Notre Dame.
Yeah.
It's one of those teams where, like, we talked about Nebraska never getting back there. Look, Notre Dame is never going to be an elite football team. I'm sorry. They're just not where they are with the restrictions and getting into that school. But you hear these people talk about how good Notre Dame is every year. And when they get in these big games, they just don't win. They just flat out don't win when they play good teams.
And they're not very good.
No, this year they're just not very good as well. All right, let's jump over to the racing side here. We got a couple big-time races. We're going to start at Churchill Downs, race number 9, the Grade 3 Dogwood. I wanted to bring this one up because Echo Zulu is in here. Even money on the morning line. She's coming back. This is going to be her first time back since the Kentucky Oaks. Going back to 7 furlongs should help her out quite a bit today. Aaron, tell me why I'm crazy for not picking Echo Zulu in here.
I don't think you're crazy. So here's the deal with her. She was fantastic as a 2-year-old. We all know. Came back, won the Fairground Oaks, and an all-out drive, just praying for somebody to catch her. We're waiting for it, but the horses behind her were so bad. Came to the Kentucky Oaks, ran a fantastic race. I know she got 4th. It was a fantastic effort. Yeah. Here's the problem. Enters at Belmont, and they're going to say, hey, we're going to go a steady diet of one-turn races with her now. I'm like, okay, she'll be tough. Enters at Belmont. Mysterious scratch at the last second. We haven't seen her since Belmont Stakes Day. I don't know. Now, the big key to me is Asmussen also enters Wicked Halo into the race, who's been fantastic, has won 3 in a row. I'm going to take a little bit of a shot with Wicked Halo here. What's I think is going to be triple the price. That's the big key for me.
Yeah, you mentioned that scratch. It was a very odd one because Rosario said Echo Zulu didn't feel right when she was working out. Asmussen was furious that Rosario had her gate scratched. She would have lost that day. I think it was Maturea that was in that race that absolutely aired that field. Now I remember that race. So that was an interesting one there with that gate scratch. Now we get her back here. And to me, the key is that Chasing Fireflies, who's absolutely no chance to win this race at 20-1, is going to try and go with her to the lead. And I think that's going to set it up. So she's not going to be able to get loose and get an easy lead. I liked the 7 as well, but I went to the 4, Tarabi. I was really impressed with the win in the Wilton. I think I thought that was a better field than kind of people expected. This horse, Sherry DeVoe was aggressive with this horse, putting her in that juvenile fillies in the Breeders' Cup last year. If we can take a step forward here, second off the layoff, I think or first off the layoff, but it's kind of second in this cycle. I think you could see a monster effort from the 4, Tarabi, who should get the setup to be able to try and run him down.
Tarabi definitely was one I thought about as well. It was a pretty good race last time out. Beat Goddess of Fire. I think it's a pretty nice horse. Going to be entered in the Cotillion today. So, I don't hate it. I think Jared was he went Wicked Halo, but I think he had Tarabi second as well. So, I think it's a decent horse to try. Look, Echo Zulu is going to be at least even money. Might be 3 to 4 to 5. This is the time to take a shot. Maybe she airs on you, but this is the time, because if she airs on you, then next time she's going to be really tough to beat.
I think you hit the nail on the head there. This is your chance to beat her, and she is going to be overbet in the spot. And you've got a couple horses that are talented enough to take her down. So I think this is a great spot to try and beat her. All right, let's move over to the Cotillion here at Parks. This is race number 11 on the card. You have the aforementioned Goddess of Fire in here, Adair Manor in here. You've got Secret Oath, Shalhama is in here, Green Up. I mean, I thought this was actually the most interesting race of the day today. I know neither of us are using Adair Manor here. That's another fade for us. But who did you end up putting up on top?
Yeah, I put Green up on top. I am a little bit nervous to leave Adair Manor off, but I just feel like Green up coming into this race really good, winning 4 in a row. A solid win last time out over this track by 3.5 lengths. In the local prep for this and getting Irad aboard for the second straight time, I think it's a good sign. I just felt like with the 6 Secret Oath, as much as I'd love to see her win, she's got to be getting tired, Somich. She has to be. She dances every dance. She's got a big field here with a lot of challengers. I just feel like one of them's going to beat her today. Maybe it's Shahama, maybe it's Gerrymander, maybe it's Adari Manor, but I think Green up, just the way she's coming into this race, looks awful tough.
And she looked awesome here over this Parks track, which I think does matter. This is it's not quite the same as the New York circuit and as the Kentucky circuit. A little more unique of a racetrack here at Parks. I think today is the day for Secret Oath. She's finally getting away from Nest. I think she's going to get a good setup. This is a much softer spot in my mind than what she has been facing. I don't love the 2-to-1 price because I do think this is a pretty deep field. I'm hoping Adair Manor takes a lot of money and we can just try and fade the Baffert money there. We've talked about this before. These 3-year-old fillies coming from California just are not as good as the ones that we've seen on the East Coast the last few years. And Ben Baffert's kind of struggled inside this division. And so this is one of those spots where I'm willing to take a shot versus possibly later where I think he might be a little bit more difficult to beat. Yeah. And with that little tease, let's go into the best bets here. We're going to kick it off with Aaron's best bet. He's going back to the well. Tell us about how you're not going to get screwed this week.
Well, listen, the value is just too good to not play this again. Now, last week, I think it was plus 122, 126, something like that. And if you watch the game, he only played 2.5 quarters. Talking about Dylan Gabriel over 2.5 passing touchdowns. I should have said that at the beginning. But you watch that game, and it's like he played 2.5 quarters. They scored 49 points. The tight end threw a touchdown pass. He had a touchdown pass called back. The guy stepped out like the half-yard line. Of course, they ran it in. Dylan Gabriel didn't even play that well last week. He missed a lot of guys. Now we're at home this week. We're playing Kansas State, much better opponent. So that in one case, that's not good. The other case, maybe he'll play 4 quarters today. So that is good. You saw OU open up the playbook a little bit last week. I think that continues this week. I think if he plays 4 quarters and that playbook's opening up, we're getting over 2.5 passing touchdowns a day for Gabriel, plus 146. I could not turn that down on a bet that I think should be in the minuses. I'm going to go to Gabriel again, over 2.5. Hopefully he doesn't burn me.
Yeah, I think you guys are in for a shootout there in Oklahoma. I think Kansas State's going to be able to put some offense up. Alec Martinez, it's Alec, right? Or is Alex Martinez? Martinez is coming in.
Taylor.
What was that?
Adrian.
Oh, Adrian Martinez.
Yeah, Adrian Martinez coming in from Nebraska as a transfer, a run and pass threat. He's looked pretty good so far. I watched him shred my Missouri team. So he's looked pretty good so far there at Kansas State. I think you guys are going to be in for a shootout. Papa, dude, you like Oklahoma today? You think they're really going to be in for it?
I'm going to be very disappointed if they don't win. I like the bet. And I'll just say this. If Kansas State scores a lot of points, I'm going to be surprised. I am. I think they may be able to hold OU down a little bit. Here's my feeling on Gabriel. I think he's going to start playing better. He's not playing bad, but he did not have a good game last week. He really didn't. He missed some people. I think he needed that game. He's got to be under a world of pressure. I know he's played a lot of football, but this is a whole different animal than Central Florida, and the world's on his shoulders in OU. I think that game last week is going to get him over the hump. I look for him to have a fantastic night tonight.
Me too. That's all I need to know.
Yep.
Let's go, baby. Let's win that Heisman.
He is better than what he played last week, and he easily should have went over this last week. Again, it's a better opponent that works in both ways. I'm with Papa Dude. I think we're going to see a really good game from him tonight.
Yeah,
I love it. All right, Papa Dude, you got a nooner here. Tell us why we're taking Baylor today.
Well, I haven't had a nooner in a long time, but anyway, anyhow, in fact, I'm trying to remember the last time. But funny little thing before I get into this about the way this gambling works. Last night, I had the over/under on Syracuse, Virginia. Okay. Which I got lucky and hit it because they can't kick. And that really helped. Here's the funny thing. I got up this morning. I watched the whole game, and I'm thinking, well, We lost another undefeated team last night. Syracuse lost. I didn't even know who frickin' won the game last night because all I was worried about was the over-under. Now, that's when things are bad. Then I saw this morning, I said, oh, hell, yeah, Syracuse did win that. I don't know. It felt like Virginia.
Commitment, Papa, dude. That's commitment. I love it.
Yeah. All right. Today, this one jumped off at me from the very first minute I saw it. I just am very confident in this game. I checked out a bunch of guys that I follow online. They're all going this way. Baylor is the defending Big 12 champion from last year. They were really good last year. They got a lot of guys back. Iowa State lost a ton of players. I do like Iowa State at home. That's a tough place to play, but it's an 11 o'clock kickoff. That helps, I think. I just think Baylor's going to win this game. I almost took them straight out, but I'm going to go ahead and go the points. I like the Bears a lot in this one, and hopefully we can get them home.
I like Baylor here too. I mean, I think Iowa State's getting a little bolstered by the win over Iowa, which obviously was not pretty at all. I mean, that was hideous. So we'll see. We'll see what happens here. I like the Baylor move as well. Hopefully we can get an early winner to kind of kick off the day there. All right, we're going to talk about the Pennsylvania Derby now, the big race of the day. We've got two best bets coming from there. We'll start out with Jared's best bet. He mailed one in here because he liked it so much. He's going with Taba on top here, 5-2 on the morning line. I know how Aaron feels about this one. We talked about it quite a bit on the Magic Mike Show. We covered this late pick 5 sequence. If you want to check it out, you still got time over at racingdudes.com. Papa Dude, where did you end up here in the Penn Derby?
Well, you guys have known me long enough to know that Taba's going to prove something to me. I'm not that high on him. I'm really not. He's only won twice. Yeah, Baffert says he's ready, and he could be. He's very inexperienced, but he's only won twice. I'm going with Mr. Brad Cox and Cyberknife in this one. I like horses that win, and they're in form. And this guy can train, and he gets horses to progress. And his last 3 starts have been pretty damn good. He won the Matt Winn, he won the Haskell, and he finished second in the Travers too. Let me see, who was that? Oh yeah, Epicenter, who may be the best horse in the country. So what has he done wrong? I don't see anything. Now, I think when you get a field like this, and this is a fantastic field, man, they have put together one. Sometimes we see a long shot in a field like this. And you guys are not going to believe who my long shot is. I kind of like Skippy Longstock.
We do too.
Papa Dude, listening to the Magic Mike Show, huh?
No, I did not. How about that? I did not hear that. I just think this horse is running great.
Yeah. I was on Skippy Longstocking in the Preakness and the Belmont as an underneath horse. I like that West Virginia Derby effort. To be fair, I don't think Skippy Longshot has a shot at hell of winning this race. I think this is a 2-horse race. I think it's Taba. I think it's Cyberknife. I liked Taba going into the Haskell. I thought Taba ran a better Haskell than Cyberknife did. I think that Taba didn't really see him. I wasn't happy with the Mike Smith ride, and that is my biggest concern today, is that Mike Smith is returning on Taba. But this is I think this would be a great Louis Sias horse. Well, it's the horse you have to kind of stay on top of and stay interested. To me, that one, he would be a really nice fit here versus Mike Smith. But Smith knows the horse well. I think Taba is going to be awfully difficult to beat here. I think you're going to get every bit of that 5-2 price. We talked a lot about the buyers, specifically on Travers Day on the dirt being a little inflated. Cyberknife's 105. I'm not so sure that's a completely accurate number from a buyer perspective. I think he's going to take a lot of money. I like this price on Taba.
You know, it's funny. You and Jared. Well, Jared is on another planet with Taba, but you are way high on him too. I'm high on him this time. I fall in the middle of Papa Dude and you guys. I do lean to that. Listen, I'm sick of the talk. Like, you've got to win. If you lose this race, I don't want to hear it ever again about this horse, right? This is the perfect spot. That's the thing. That's why I'm on him. This is it. He has no excuse here. This is a logical spot. He finally is in a race where it seems logical that he's entered. I really, really think if he is going to show it, today is the day. And look, he ran fantastic in the Haskell. That was off of a layoff from the Kentucky Derby, where it was a total disaster from him. So for him to rebound from that race, run that great in the Haskell, got beat by Cyberknife, who had a little bit more seasoning. Now Cyberknife has a race in between this one and the Haskell, which he ran really well in the Travers, where Taba kind of rested, trained up to it. I think today's the day. If Cyberknife beats him today, I don't want to hear about this horse ever again. I don't want to hear about Taba. All right. If he can't beat him today, he's never going to beat him. That's where I'm at with it.
Good point.
You'll hear about him in the Malibu, right? When he wins that easy, going 7 furlongs.
Look, and again, I fully believe Taba's getting ready to show us he's a really nice horse. I have him singled. I have him on top. I'm not disagreeing with the picks. If you've heard me on all the 28 shows I've been on here this week, I'm on Taba, but he's got to do it today. That's the key.
Just throw this out. Why do you think he's keeping Mike Smith on him? Is that a real shock to you guys? I mean, he uses him a lot, of course, but don't you think he might have replaced him with somebody?
I can't get the jockey roulette to me is tough to figure out sometimes. And this is just one of those where, like, I personally, wouldn't put Mike Smith on any horse that I have right now. So I think I'm probably a little biased in that sense because he gives some head scratchers of a ride. So, like, Life is Good comes to mind as well. One of his rides. Like, there's just somewhere it's just like, what are you doing, man? Like, and I didn't love that Haskell ride. I didn't think he got that horse back to the inside quick enough so he could see the challenge coming. And we'll see what happens here. I think honestly, Taba's a quirky horse, and he's not quite professional. And you saw that in the Haskell. And I think that having a rider who's ridden him in a race before is what he sees as a positive. And that's maybe why Mike Smith is still on here. Aaron, any thoughts there?
Yeah, I think that's probably a good reason why they did learn some things. I mentioned that last time. It's like they finally kind of learned, maybe he doesn't like going inside of horses, running inside of horses. Maybe he doesn't like, maybe he idles when he gets to the front a little bit. So they learned some things on him in the Haskell. And I think now if you replace the jockey, it's like, you kind of lose some of what maybe you learned. If he loses today, surely he's going to fire him. But look, I talk shit about Mike Smith all summer, and then closing day at Del Mar, I hit a huge pick 5, and he won 2 out of the 5 races in sequence. So, it is what it is. At the end of the day, he shouldn't get him beat today. Yeah. He really shouldn't. I mean, he draws outside. Just keep him outside, stalk, pounce. He should win.
Third price on the morning line, Zandon. Michael Rose chiming in saying he likes Zandon today. Zandon is he's that quintessential horse that loves to run third in this type of field. I think he's going to be, I think you can pen him in for third or fourth in my mind. What do you think, Papa Dude?
Yeah, that's what he does. You hit the nail on the head. Not quite good enough. When you say that, he's just not quite good enough.
This year's Hot Rod Charlie.
Yeah.
I think that's disrespectful to Hot Rod Charlie.
Oh, fired at Zandon here.
Look, Michael, listen, I get it. I love Zandon, but I can't bet him anymore. And I haven't been able to bet him since that Derby when he hung, and he just hangs. And it's just, he looks like $1 million. He may look like $1 billion on the racetrack. This is just a gorgeous, gorgeous horse. I love to watch him. I love to look at him. I've been lucky to see him in person a lot. I love it, but God, he just has no excuses on some of these races he's been losing. He changes to Rosario today. I'm a Zandon fan. Like, hopefully it makes a difference, but I just can't back him until he proves it.
Yeah. I'm kind of with you. Just consistently the bridesmaid here. And it's one that I'm going to play underneath. I mean, Papa Dude mentioned Skippy Longstocking. I'm going to have some straight supers here that look like Taba over Cyberknife with Zandon and Skippy Longstocking in those third and fourth spots, because I think those are the 4 horses that stand out here. Papa Dude, any other long shot that you were interested in? Simplification, White Abario, or you really think this is kind of the cream of the crop's going to rise here?
I think I went overboard picking this one. I mean, this is totally out of character for me.
I like it. Real quick, Aaron, give me a winner in the Gallant Bob. We have the same horse, so I like this question.
Well, Ashley, first of all, good to see you back. And second of all, the winner of the Gallant Bob is a running son of a gun, Ashley.
That is correct. The 9 horse there. Morning line, I think it's like 6-1. We both like running son of a gun on top. For my best bet, I really like Taba. And I actually really like By Land and Sea in the next race. So I'm going to play a daily double here with Taba, where I think we're going to get a decent price, again, because of what we talked about in the competition in that race. And By Land and Sea is by far the best horse in the finale at Parks. should be able to take that field gate to wire from the inside post. So I'm going to play an 8-1 double in Parks 12 is my best bet of the day. Before we take off, don't forget, make sure you check out the Racing Dudes Tournament Challenge. Go over, either check your email for the dude's email, go to the Racing Dudes Twitter page, my Twitter page. Any one of them has a link, $20 to enter the top 5 finishers today. Get into the finals on the 26th of December for $500 in cash for free. Not a bad way to spend your Saturday. That's the full Parks card that we'll be covering, so make sure you check that out. Make sure you play your opinions in there. Papa Dude, give us our final thoughts here on a college football Saturday.
Just sit back and enjoy it. That's one thing I don't like about having to go to these games. I can't watch the other ones. So there's going to be some good ones today.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be a great day of college football. We got a great day of horse racing. Don't forget Churchill, 6 p.m. start. We got Park starting at noon. So early start one place, late start at another. Should be a phenomenal day of football and horse racing. Let's run through the picks here. Jared, going to Parks, race number 12, taking Taba 5-2 on the morning line. I'm going to go to race number 12 as well, play a daily double. Taba into by Land and Sea, 8-1. Papa Dude taking Baylor plus 2.5. Aaron taking Gabriel over passing touchdowns, 2.5 passing touchdowns, 146. Weekly record 2-7, not good at all, down 530, but we're still up $1,788 for the year off $100 base bet. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow for an NFL Sunday at noon Eastern, the regular time. Good luck, everybody, at the racetrack or with the football get picks.